having a better parent-child relationship, it's something most families want to achieve, from communication to learning how to love each other more. Well, I'm here with Shamini, and she has some of those answers through astrology. So I feel that most people probably know what astrology is, but for folks out there who haven't, really, what is it?
Okay, astrology is, in the simplest way, it's the study of the positions, motions, and properties of the planets and those effects on us here on Earth and daily life.
So for instance, like say, I'm a Taurus because I was born in May.
Right.
There's certain characteristics that I have that most other people that were born in May do.
Right.
Correct? Right?
Yes. Yep.
So when it comes like the parent and child relationship, is knowing each other's signs. Because I feel like sometimes, you go in the magazine and you look at Taurus, you look at Leo or whatever, and you say, oh, what's my month going to look like? And it's for entertainment purposes.
Yep.
But how do you build the best parent and child? And, all my children are Leos.
Sure. Okay. So, so when you look at your sun sign in a magazine or whatnot, that's only looking at one tiny piece of like a really big puzzle, an entire chart. So when you look at your sun, that's going to be the most popular and one of the most like dominant positions in your birth chart, but it's not going to tell you the whole piece. So sometimes people might not completely resonate with what they read, and they might think like, oh, something else here makes more sense to me. And that's because you're just looking at one piece. But
what do you mean sun sign?
The sun sign. So you have your sun, moon, and rising. Those are called your big three. And then you also have your Mercury, which is your communication, your Venus, which is your love and ideals, your Jupiter, where you might have luck or more like expansive energy in your life. You have your Mars, your action, how you assert yourself. Your Pluto, where you find the most transformation in your life. So on the day you were born, there was positions of the planets in the sky. So your birth chart is a map, essentially, of what the sky looked like the day you were born, and then what all of that maybe, gives an inclination to your life.
I feel like it's so easy now, especially with the internet. You can put, Taurus woman, Leo man, or Sagittarius man, or all these kinds of things. But when it comes to parent and child, I mean, is there really an outlet? And we can go ahead and deep dive into
so the sun. Yeah. So the sun represents the ego first and foremost. So your moon is your more internal emotions, kind of what drives you, but the sun is kind of like that big presentation that you give in life. So your ego playing off of your child's ego is what those two suns kind of would look like.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. Let's first beat up the Leo side, because I come from like a really strong like Leo family.
Definitely.
But I am a Taurus, and I mean, obviously you're the expert, but I have noticed that this is kind of true, that I do have to like coax their ego and say, oh yeah, you know everything.
Right.
And then I just let it go. I let it go, and that is true because I am stubborn. And then but I let it go, and then I'm just like, all right, had enough.
Yeah. So what I think of when I think of Taurus and Leo, especially you being the parent. So Taurus is an earth sign, very stable, very grounded, very stubborn, right? So Leos and Taurus are both going to be stubborn. So that's your commonality there. But what you can provide to your Leo child who's a little bit more outgoing and creative, maybe a little bit more dramatic, is like a really firm foundation for your children to build their creativity and their confidence also off of. But what they can provide back to you is that they can encourage you to, kind of like get out of your routine and maybe any like rigid parts of your life a little bit more. So you're the foundation, but they encourage you to kind of spice it up, Mom.
Okay, well, maybe we should become friends. I feel like I've met my new friend right now. Well, I do want you to plug in because you have a lot of really exciting things happening on your website, but we have about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, okay. So I just launched a monthly calendar, so that's a new thing for me on my website. It's directly available for purchase. Look to the month ahead, kind of understand what's coming your way, get a little bit more in tune.
I think I love it. So we should have you on more on the show because I really had.
I feel like that.
So many times we have like great guests, and then there's just not enough time to ask all the questions.
Right.
Up next, hearty breads and baked goods to help you celebrate National Sourdough Bread Day. I know.